It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
And we're back. It's Brad and John, and Brad is going to come clean.
Oh, I'm ready, Brad.
John, I have sort of made accusations that I think when politicians are so obsessed with yard signs that it's an illusion that, whoever voted because they saw a yard sign. I had an epiphany. It started on Tuesday, and by yesterday I thought to myself, you know what? I have to go on the air and I have to come clean on this because of the fact that what happened to me. I was driving down, I was in St. Charles County, and I'm driving down a street, I won't mention which one, and I see a yard sign that says, vote Democratic. And
oh, wow.
Immediately I said to myself, you know what? When I go vote next month, I'm going to vote Democratic. Then I saw a yard sign that said Tony Lavasco. And I thought to myself, I don't even know who Tony Lavasco is, but I'm voting for him. And then I saw a yard sign for Mike Kehoe. And I thought to myself, I have no idea who Mike Kehoe is, but I'm voting for him. Then I saw a sign that said, in God we trust. And I thought to myself, you know what? This is a message from on far. I'm going to start my own church. I'm going to be public about the fact that I am Pastor Brad, and I'm going to start it Tuesday of next week.
Nice.
All because of yard signs.
Now, is the latter part, is that a lead into a real conversation or not?
What do you think?
Okay, I guess not.
No.
First of all, nobody in St. Charles County would see a Tony Lavasco sign and not show appreciation to who the man is, right?
Well, but see, the interesting...
So there goes the hypothetical.
Well, but the interesting thing about it is that here's the problem that I have. As I'm driving through a neighborhood, I'm constantly changing my opinion because one person tells me to vote for Jay Ashcroft. I go, okay, I'm going to vote for Jay Ashcroft.
Yeah.
And then I go around the corner and I see a Bill Eigel sign. No, I'm voting for Bill Eigel. And the interesting part of it is the thing that probably really bothered me. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I could get myself in trouble. I could get arrested because Jay Ashcroft could come after me. Because you know why?
You're not a licensed engineer.
No. Because if I saw, like, for example, if I went by a house and there were two Bill Eigel yard signs, I would go vote twice. I would go in the first.
That's true.
I would go in, vote for Bill Eigel once, then I'd go back in with a fake ID and I'd vote for Bill Eigel a second time. Because if it says Bill Eigel twice, he gets my vote and my vote.
Now, see, I disagree with you because you make your mind up only on yard signs, and I do it only by endorsements. So I look at who the Missouri Talcum Powder Association endorses. It's that time of year. Like if I'm wearing pants for an occasion and I'm going sockless, like I always, a little bit of baby powder or talcum powder, in the bottom of my shoes. It's like a habitual thing. I would never walk around town with dirty feet. So I look to the Talcum Powder Association. Now, other people look to, the Cobalt Miners Association or others, but I'm a Talcum Powder Association guy. So if they say to vote for Chris Wright for governor, I text Brad's friend in Joplin and say, who is that? And they don't know. And I say it's the guy that was endorsed by the Cobalt Miners.
Okay, I'm doing something right now because I forgot to do this before we went on the air, okay? Once again, I have friends that live in Southern Illinois, okay? And what's interesting about this is this didn't make sense until yesterday when it was explained to me that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why would you be attuned to the political ads
because they get them all in the St. Louis market. Right,
but the interesting thing is they don't have any, there's no voting going on in Southern Illinois nor in Kentucky, okay? Because in Southern or in Illinois, their primary was what, like in March or something like that?
Yeah, whenever.
Okay, so once again, and my computer is being real slow here, the station is WPSD. I think it's Channel 6 out of Paducah, okay? You would not believe the money that's being spent in a Kentucky TV station by the Missouri people running for office. And once again, my complaint on that is it doesn't make any sense financially because of the fact that, let's say, 2/3 of the audience is in Southern Illinois and Kentucky. 1/3 of the audience is in Southern Illinois because obviously they're going after who they're going after is the Cape Girardeau, Scott County, Cape Girardeau County audience. That's how the Paducah station makes sense for them. Now, let me go on the website here and find it right here. Okay, right, and I will tell you, I'll give you the list of the Missouri candidates who are spending money in Kentucky. I mean,
all right, here we go.
Do you find this somewhat problematic?
No, absolutely not.
So it's just me, right? Okay,
it's just you. Yeah.
Okay, right now I'm looking at this. Okay. In the state,
Brad, I'm finding it hard to hear you. I don't know if anybody else is, but
okay.
I'm finding it hard to hear you.
I'm at the other. I'm across the room in my studio. So if I turn my head this way, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go into Missouri. Okay. And I'm on the FCC website right now. And this, by the way, this website, it's not my computer. Nothing against the FCC. I love the FCC. You guys have been good to me. Don't find me or anything like that. But your website moves like molasses. I mean, I can click on something. I could go to the bathroom and come back, and it still hasn't loaded.
Wow.
And right now it shows that there are 59 different candidates from Missouri who bought advertising on WPSD. Now, I shouldn't say 59 different candidates.
Oh, nice. Good for them.
There's,
you know what? I'm sure they have experts who are identifying the overlap in the market. That's great for them.
See, John's like, well, it makes perfect sense. That's because of blah, blah, blah. The experts, see, don't you sometimes question who these experts are? You know these people, right? I mean, know.
Yeah, I would say that they're probably data-driven, Brad, and I would probably say that they have numbers that show that whatever overlap they're wasting by going into the Kentucky and Illinois market, they're making up by what? How would you compare? God, people are not going to care about this, but we'll talk about it anyway. How would you compare the cost of advertising on Paducah television versus advertising on St. Louis television?
Well, here, okay, under Missouri category, we have 5 orders that have been put in for governor, 23 orders for lieutenant governor. Secretary of State has 5. State Senate has 26. Okay, let's look at governor. And once again, this is going to take forever to load.
I might be wrong. Now that I originally said people won't care about this. But, Brad, once you start mentioning names, people will care about this. So to make this interesting, please tell us the people that are buying ads on this Kentucky radio station to get coverage in southeast Missouri.
Okay, this is a Kentucky TV station, okay? Hannah Mo. She put in an order on 7/16, 7/15, 7/10, 7/10. Hannah for Mo. Hannah for No. These are all Hannah. She's a Democrat, correct? Isn't that who?
Who's Hannah for No?
No, it's Hamra. I'm sorry, Hamra. Hamra. Hamra for governor.
Mike Hamra is running against Crystal Quaid. Okay, sure.
Okay, that's all these are all the governor ones. Okay, and let me go back up a level here. Now, once again, I mean, and do you have any idea what kind of money they're spending? You want to know that? You want to know the money they're spending?
Sure, why not? I think people will care about it.
You do, really? Or is this boring?
Yeah, come on, let's get to it.
Is this boring radio? Hold on a minute. Let me look at this one. I should have done this ahead of time. This order is for $2,670, and the ads are depending upon when the ads run. If they run, and this is what's also interesting, they all run the expensive ads. You know when the expensive ads are running?
When is that?
They're running in the 6:30 to 7 o'clock hour because you know what's on between 6:30 and 7 o'clock?
What's that?
Wheel of Fortune. Okay, the ads are $350 a piece, $350 a piece. Okay. Is that crazy or what?
If you got the money, you spend it if you got it.
Well, okay, let me look at another one. There's a bunch of them. Okay, let's look for lieutenant governor. Now, who in the world would be? Let's look for secretary of state.
And Brad, can you get a little closer to the microphone? I can't hear you.
Okay, the secretary of state, Plocker for Missouri. Okay, you ready for that? Plocker for Missouri.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Plocker for Missouri has spent. Let me see what he spent. He spent Dean Plocker schedule. It does.
And what we could do, Brad, too, to save a little bit of time, maybe tomorrow on the air we could be ready with this and we could run through some of the numbers tomorrow, maybe in B block.
Okay, but don't you find it? I think. See, here's the problem I have with this. Okay, if you're running for an office in the state of Missouri, and you're telling people, "Hey, I'm here to promote Missouri. Buy Missouri. Live in Missouri. Pay your taxes in Missouri," and they're buying ads on a Kentucky TV station. Don't you have a little bit of a problem with that?
No, because by that very logic, Brad, you're reminding people in Kentucky and Illinois that they should pack up and move to Missouri.
But they're not saying that. They're saying,
well, they're not, but I think that's when you elevate Missouri the way that a Dean Plocker or a Mike Hamra might do, then you're elevating them in the minds of Kentuckians and Illinoisans.
Well, see, and here's the crazy thing for me. I don't have a TV anymore. I haven't had one for a long time, okay? How do I watch things? I watch it on my phone. And I guess, like, even though I'm advanced age, 89, I have the habits of, like, probably a 25-year-old, right? Because how many 25-year-olds have a TV at home? Not many, right? Everything's on their phone or on their iPad or on their Mac Pro or their laptop stuff, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But see, maybe I've got those young genes in me still.
Now, Brad, you have a little bit of bias about this because you see people buying ads on television and you have a little bit of advertiser envy. Is that fair?
No, but see, okay. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I have a friend of mine that has an Audi, okay? And beautiful car, probably like 12, 13 years old. They bought it used, but it was only a year old, okay? And I said to this particular person, "Do you know you're buying a maintenance headache?" And they went, but it's an Audi. I go, "Trust me, you're going to regret this decision," okay? And now this person will never come out and say they regret the decision, but I get the calls like, "Okay, I went to the dealership and they said it's going to cost $8,000 for a new turbo." And I said,
every time you take a luxury car in to get it worked on, you're looking at least $1,000 for anything.
Right, for anything. Oil change is like $500, okay?
Yeah.
And I essentially said, "Now you know why I drive, POS old, primarily Ford cars, because the one car I drive is coming up on 300,000 miles, has the original engine, has the original transmission, and once again, it's one of those things where if you tell someone, hey, you know what?" And even the guys who are like the car guys, there's a term called daily driver. You can probably figure out what that is.
Yeah.
If you have a Ferrari, you don't drive that car to work every day. You're not like Sonny Crockett back in the in the Miami Vice days. And by the way, this is like super nerddom. Do you know the original couple seasons of Miami Vice? I think the original 2 seasons when he has that black Ferrari. You know what's interesting about it?
Yeah, it was not. You told this story before. It was not a real Ferrari.
It was
actually a different type of car, and it was built. It was made to look like a Ferrari.
It was a Corvette with a body kit on it. It was a Corvette.
Now get back to your.
Okay.
I think you interrupted yourself.
But once again, you don't. If you're like a car guy, and you have all these exotic cars, you're driving like a Chevy pickup truck every day. That's your daily driver. You don't. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm not here to say that if you've always wanted an Audi, go buy an Audi. I told the goofy story about how I always wanted a Mercedes-Benz diesel, and I test drove it, and on the test drive, brand new car with 12 miles on it, the engine blew up in the thing.
It blew up. Now, Brad, were you tying this back to TV advertising?
I was.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I thought this was maybe an entirely different topic.
So when those Audi ads come on, you say, "I'm not voting for Audi. They're not getting my vote." That's how I was tying back to the TV ads.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Does this make any sense, John? No, it does not.
I feel a little bit like Shelley Barr in the last half of your guys' run together, where I'm like, explain that to me, Brad. I don't know. No, okay, yeah, but okay, good. Yeah, so we ran through the Paducah, Kentucky ads. That's interesting stuff.
Okay.
It is interesting to hear who's advertising on those stations.
Okay, last thing. You sent me this. Can we talk about the deal with the St. Louis Public Schools?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I read this article, and my initial reaction was, what the hell are they thinking? The article you sent me was from the Post-Dispatch, and what's the lady's name? Do you have it there in front of you?
Her name is Phoenix. Let me bring the link up. I have on my Twitter, I have a paywall-free link. Her name is Phoenix Jackson, and she is. Go ahead, you can describe it, Brad.
She is the new hire for essentially the comms person. She's the communications director for the St. Louis Public Schools. Correct? Did I get that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And her salary is.
I didn't read that far. What was the salary?
Between her pay range, the pay range is between 165 and 185.
And the interesting thing is, she doesn't live in St. Louis.
Yeah, she lives in Houston.
She lives in Houston.
But she has to be fair, she has a condo in the city of St. Louis.
Right. But according to the article, I get the impression she's going to spend most of her time in Houston. Okay? Now, do you mean to tell me that in the entire St. Louis area, in the entire, 16 county MSA, there's not one single person who already lives here who could do that job?
Yeah, I think that's what it says, Brad. I just don't think there's any communications talent here in St. Louis that would take a job for menial pay like 165 to 185. So I think you gotta go down south for it. Labor's a little cheaper where you have all the Mexicans flooding the border.
So you're saying that 165 to 185 is like peanuts, chump change kind of stuff,
Yeah, it would
right?
be insulting. I mean, that's the kind of thing that if they offer it to you, you just get up and leave and say, I can't believe you would insult me that way. I'm being sarcastic here. Now, what's interesting about the Post-Dispatch piece is this is by Blythe Bernard of the Post-Dispatch, and I do not have a link up to this today because it does not involve Missouri politics, but folks can go to my Twitter at johncombest_com and find it. I found this piece through the great Greg Keller, by the way, Brad. But the piece notes that Jackson, it says, is the latest in a string of out-of-state hires for cabinet positions under second-year superintendent Keisha Scarlett, who came from Seattle to lead the district. So we imported a leader from Seattle, Brad. Seattle is known for being a really reasonable, rational town. And so we got somebody from Seattle, and now we're bringing in somebody. If I'm Tashara Jones, I point out that St. Louis is attracting top talent from all over the country, Brad. They want to come here and be a part of this renaissance.
So my question, which I don't think was answered in the article, is if she lives in Dallas and
Houston,
and she's says she's buying a condo, talks about how she's going to decorate her
condo. She
condo.
has a condo, yeah.
She's going to decorate her condo. Okay. Obviously, she's going to spend some time back and forth. Is the city paying for that? Is the city paying for her to fly back and forth? I don't think she's going to drive because Houston is a drive. Houston would be like, what, a 12-hour drive?
I think she'll probably take the bus.
No, I don't think so.
Don't you think she could pack a knapsack and take a bus? Maybe she could ride the rails.
You get what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I mean, I'm sure that would come out of her own pocket. I'm sure.
You would at least hope, right?
Well, here's what I have it on good authority that she's in conversations with Bruce Franks. He knows how to fill out a timesheet where she can actually be in two places at the same time.
Wasn't that what he also got in trouble for as well, too? You bring that up. Wasn't that the deal with Bruce Franks?
Yeah, it was the timesheet thing. Now, in Bruce's defense, I just read this morning his statement. Well, it's not from him because it has complete sentences and words spelled out and everything. So I'm sure it was written by an attorney. But he says that actually – the charges, it was brought up by Lauren Traeger of KMOV Television, and he said that this is actually KMOV has a long history of targeting and attacking black men. So that's when I knew that Bruce Franks was right. Like, the timesheets have to be correct because KMOV loves to beat up on black men. So, but the point is, Bruce can have a conversation with Phoenix about timesheets, and you can actually be in two places at the same time. And she has a beautiful quote in here about Sagittariuses. I'm not sure if you saw that too, Brad.
John, once again, why are our school systems in trouble? This is a perfect example of that. And first off, why do you need a comms person at a school district? Teach the kids reading and writing and arithmetic. You know what I mean?
I would defend that hire. You have to have somebody to communicate about the next COVID wave, which is coming, Brad. You have to have somebody communicate about, whatever DEI program you have coming up on Black History Month or whatever. No, you need a comms position, and you need to pay. Jokes aside, you need to pay in that range. You need to pay a little bit sub $200,000 to get somebody with a little bit of talent. I think the challenge here and the objection is that she's actually living in Houston.
I just don't get it. I mean, see, I'm an old guy. When I went to school, Hazelwood School District, you're a Hazelwood guy too. Was there a comms person in the Hazelwood School District and you went there?
Yeah, there was.
Not when I went. There was no such thing. Comms person? What's that? Oh, comms person. What do we need that for?
Well,
right.
they would still gather everyone into the town square and shout. Like, that's how you communicated. Brad.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Right. Okay, John, this show, don't say this show was good because it quite honestly sucked. We'll try to do a better show tomorrow. How's that?
Next time, I want you to look up more TV data live on the air, and I want you to talk into the microphone from 200 yards instead of 100 yards.
Bye, John.
Bye. See you guys.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?